Hey guys, T-Boliv here, and today wanted to take a look at the soon-to-be released Tier 9 premium U.S. battleship, the USS Georgia. This thing is being released a little bit later today, here in a couple hours. It will be available for you in a crate. Let me try to contain my excitement. Yeah, so it'll be in the shop in a crate for you guys, so have fun with that. So as usual, thought I'd give you a quick rundown on the boat, a couple of its stats, and then I've got some gameplay for you. So generally, I did really like this boat. We'll talk more about what I liked and didn't like as we get through the video. But again, Tier 9, it was never actually built, but it was a kind of a theory boat that they, when they were designing the Iowa class around that same time, they said, what if we put some 18-inch guns on a Iowa hull? So if you compare it, it does have a similar profile. It's not quite as long, but it does have kind of a similar profile to the Iowa. So that's kind of where its origin came from. And as you can see there, those of you that don't know already from this thing being on PC, we do have 3 turrets, 2 guns each, 457 millimeter or 18-inch. So just a hair smaller than the Yamato and Musashi's guns. Secondary armament, it's got the pretty typical 10 double turrets, 127 millimeter, same as pretty much all the other U.S. battleships in 8, 9, and 10. Layout's a little bit different. You got 3 a little bit further forward, 2 further aft on each side. They're not long-range secondaries, though. On PC, and I will be the first one to say that Blitz is not PC. It's not supposed to be like PC. Hopefully it never is the same as PC. It's a different game, similar, but it is a different game, and you can't expect things to be identical between the two. And I don't expect them to be. I'll be the first one to say that. That said, when it comes to boats that transfer from one game to the other, kind of like the Georgia here, there's certain attributes that make a boat special and unique. And a couple of things that made Georgia special and unique on PC were engine boost and a really high speed. If I remember right, on PC, it was one of, if not the fastest battleships in the game, and I think it was the fastest at Tier 9 for sure. Long-range secondaries, kind of like the Massachusetts or the German battleships, had a really strong long-range secondary armament, and then 6 18-inch guns that hit really hard. They accomplished that last one, but the first 2, this thing is the same speed as the Iowa and the Missouri. No speed boost, as we'll see when we look at some of the skills it comes with. Secondaries are the same range as the Clevelands, the U.S. Tier 8 light cruiser. So I was a little disappointed with that. It's still a fun boat, but it's not really anything special. And I think that Wargaming missed the mark on that one, personally. So I would like to see those things corrected in future patches, I hope. So anyways, let's get in and take a look. As you can see, I've got Halsey on here right now. He's not who I ran, though, for most of the time that I was playing with this. What was this guy? So for captain skills... yeah, it was this one. Nothing really crazy or out of the ordinary. Citadel Strike, APCS, Master Reloader, because you do have rapid reload. Demolition Expert. Yeah, pretty standard for me for a build for the captain. Equipment, I left this one on here because it doesn't change the stats when you look at it. I did run Dispersion in slot 1. I tried messing with a couple of these in order to try to get a little more secondary range out, and the AA on this isn't bad, as we'll see. A little extra range never hurt. Ran this one for a little bit. And this thing does have pretty good range, so buffing it doesn't hurt. But out at that max range, the dispersion's a little trollish, so I decided that I would rather have a little bit less range and a little bit better accuracy so that I can hit the things that I can reach rather than reaching things and not being able to hit them. So I do recommend dispersion in slot 1. Slots 2 and 3, I ran usual for me, which is acceleration and steering. And I definitely think that those were the best ones to run. Camouflage, I actually kind of like it. It's a little different from the other U.S. battleships, just with the grayscale, kind of Germanish theme, but I like it. It's different. So pretty standard buffs there. Ship hit points, main battery firing range, dispersion, torpedo damage reduction. Nothing too unusual or exciting. Elite bonuses. You can take an extra 4% range. I actually ran with fire and flooding resistance. You know, not really a big guess as to why. You can run range, and with range elite bonus and the range, this one, it actually, I think, outranged the Yamato, which was pretty impressive, I thought. But again, I would rather hit the things that I can reach rather than reach things just to miss them. So hit points 50,622, which is actually less than both the Iowa and the Missouri, so just bear that in mind. You don't want to rush too far forward and get into trouble. Citadel, fire and flooding damage, torpedo damage reductions are pretty much the same. Oh, actually, this has got a 18. Yeah, 18. It's the same. Same speed, 31.25 knots. Acceleration is actually better than both the Missouri and the Iowa. It is a little bit shorter in length, which I think helps the steering too, or the turning time. Main guns, like I said, 457 millimeter, 18 inch. You get 6 of them total. 20-second reload with a stock 15-kilometer range. You can see you got a little bit better range there than Iowa and Missouri. HE damage is pretty good for, you know, hitting destroyers, almost 1,300 hit points, 15% fire chance. The main battery AP damage, though, 2325. That is actually higher even than Yamato. Not by very much, but it is higher than Yamato. They are 18-inch guns, so you do get that 300% Citadel damage rate, and then a very terrible but standard 4.5 degrees per second turret traverse. Like I said, secondaries are standard U.S. secondaries, 127 millimeter 5-inch, 10 times 2. You get 5 per side. 5.87 kilometers. If you run with the this one, gets him out to 6.12, which is you know, what the Cleveland's got on its secondaries. A little disappointed again with that, but whatever. AA rating, as you guys can see here, large caliber is going to be the same between Iowa, Missouri, and Georgia. Small caliber is where we're going to notice our difference. 425 on Georgia compared to 473 on Iowa and almost 500 on Missouri. So the AA is good, but it's not great. I mean, it's not everything can be a Wooster, right? Surface detection is smaller, but not by much. Actually, I guess it's only smaller than Iowa, so it's in that same category. Again, this is basically an Iowa with 18-inch guns. Does come with battle honors for those of you who are interested. And then you do get 3 rapid reload. So I think that's it. So anyways, that's basically all the stats on it, so I guess we'll jump over and take a look at some games. All right. So, as you guys might have seen there, my good buddy Lost Soul is in his Benham, and we had pushed over towards this side of the map to see what we could find, and ran into a Yagumo and a Missouri. And unfortunately, he's much better suited to deal with the Missouri, but I'm not very well suited to deal with that Yagumo. So we decided to try to split them, and I told him I would try to keep the Missouri's attention, and hopefully he could kill that Yagumo. But didn't want to rush face first into those torpedoes from the Yagumo either, so decided to hang a hard right and try to kite away a little bit and see if I could pull the Missouri with me away from the rest of the team and his support, and I was confident that I would be able to outgun the Missouri. So The that last salvo was 4 full pins too, so I was pretty happy with that. Like I say, the guns do hit pretty well, and that was disappointing. There were actually surprisingly a fair number of bounces, not a lot, but more than I would have expected for the guns and the ships I was shooting at. I don't remember if it was this match or another one, but I do remember there was like one game where I bounced a couple of shots off of an aircraft carrier and couldn't believe that. I think I even bounced one off of a destroyer one game and was just in utter disbelief. Overpen, I get, but a bounce? So, just know that it can happen. And be prepared for it. So, the load time was not worth it on most of the occasions for me to try to switch to HE. So, I'm going to get some of that range into play. I don't think those hit though. Cool. Oh yeah, that was good. So, a couple of full pins and a half pin. So Lost killed the Yugumo, so now I don't have to worry about him torping me. It gives me the ability to push a little bit more on the Missouri. You can see Lost is going to rush him there. So I'm going to hit him one more time. Going to clear the island. And a couple of full pins. So the dispersion, this was one of the earlier games, and I don't think I was running the dispersion mod yet. I think I was still running secondary range. And the dispersion stock is not terrible, but it can be a little trollish, especially at range, which is then only exacerbated by the fact that you've only got 6 guns. So if your dispersion's a little trollish and you're only putting 6 rounds in the air anyways, you know, the potential to splash, you know, a number of rounds in your salvo is definitely a possibility. So the rapid reload is definitely handy, as is master loader, so I recommend that. That's a good salvo. The next one's even better, though, or not the next one, the one after that. So Midway was ducking behind the island, and I remember thinking, I wonder if I can lob that island, which is why I took this shot and was disappointed that, unfortunately, I could not. As they were about halfway through their arc, I was like, yeah, those aren't going to make it. They're going to hit the island, and sure enough, they did. So, trying to reposition, get back over to do some more to help my team. Double Citadel, couple of full pens, or a full pen, 2 half pens, 2 Citadels. I was really happy with that salvo. That was a good one. Gonna clear the island. Looks like he took a torpedo or 2, but we're gonna finish him right here. So this was the best game I had for Citadels. That was 3 that I pulled off of the carrier there, and then got a half health Iowa that we're going to push on and end up brawling with. There's one more, that's 4. We're not done yet though. So in this case, because I'm not running turret traverse and that turrets are so slow, I hit the reverse here. There's another Citadel. I hit the reverse here, but I should have also pulled hard on the rudder and kept it in reverse just to try to make that turn as tight as I could to keep my guns pointed at the Iowa as long as possible. As it was, again, I had plenty of health. He was half health. It wasn't a brawl that I was going to lose. And one more Citadel finishes him off. That was 6 that game. And then we've got this game, and this will be the last one I show. I've got a whole bunch of clips that I could show of citadeling various and different boats, and they're all very gratifying, but I'd rather let you guys kind of see, rather than just clips of salvos landing, I'd rather you guys see the gameplay so you can kind of get a feel more for the boat and how it handles and everything. So and there's a couple of good ones in here, so I'll try to make sure I prepare you and let you see them, point them out when they're coming. I normally hate ending up in a battleship on center cap maps, just because I'm usually the only battleship that's in the circle. I'm going to do a video soon on how to play a center cap map in a battleship and not be a putz. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. Public service announcement though, get in the circle. Thank you. So this was the of the, I don't know, 12 or 13 games that I played in Georgia the other day. This was the highest score that I had, and I was really surprised because I was just playing the game, wasn't paying attention to the numbers I was putting up, and all of a sudden I was getting a big cal and continued rolling, so that was quite a surprise. I remembered thinking that I wish that Mogami would turn a little bit and present a more appealing target, and sure enough, ask and sometimes you shall receive. And I remembered firing that shot and thinking that the aiming glitch was going to hose me, and still ended up getting 3 full pins for over 2,000 damage each, so I was pretty excited about that. It's the next salvo that I fire at the Mogami, though. Okay, not this one. It's the salvo after this one. Anyways, yeah, that was all court over pins. That was a bummer. But this one that's coming up, at first I thought I hit him. As you see there, he's got 2/3 health, and he's got 2/3 health when I fire. But I wasn't the only one shooting at him, and right before my shells landed there, somebody else brought him from a 2/3 down to about half, and then I citadeled him and got a couple of good full pins into his broadside, and the half health Mogami was gone. So I know that this isn't the only battleship that can do that. Mogami's a light cruiser, all of that, but still, anytime you can take somebody from a good chunk of health down to 0, I'm personally pretty happy with that. So trying to get enough of our team back into the cap to end up taking it, because that is the key to winning 90% of the games on center cap maps, is to control the circle. Got our pin on that North Carolina for our 3rd Citadel. We got one more coming this game. This game we had a total of 4. I was averaging probably between 1 and 2 per game in most of them that I was playing in Georgia. And, you know, that's not too shabby. Anytime you can get it more than a couple per game is pretty good. And I did have a few games where I was getting 3 and 4, but I was probably averaging between 1 and 2. Trying not to get torpedoed by the Chung Mu. Thankfully, I started moving and made sure I wasn't where he had launched his torpedoes. Trying to make sure that I continue to stay pointed nose at that smoke screen so that when he reloads, I'm not sitting broadside to him where he's going to dump a couple racks in. Remember that the hit points on Georgia are less, not by much, but they are less than both the Iowa and the Missouri. So you want to try to make sure to protect your broadside whenever you can so that you don't get smacked. Fortunately, this Richelieu has not learned that his guns are all in the front, and he does not have to sit still broadside to another battleship with even bigger guns in order to be effective. And that cost him a good chunk of health, and my 4th Citadel, which is exciting. And since we're just about done with this one, I'm going to say take a second and thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. I apologize for the lack of sound. I had it fixed for about a day where I was able to record the in-game sound, and then for some reason it crapped out on me again. So I am still trying to solve the recording. All the apps that I found that are good enough and decent to use don't seem to want to record in-game sound. So I apologize for that. But thanks for watching, and see you guys out there.